lives.
So let's talk about this warfare. Because you see now, some people presume that you can go to school, study a little bit about money, get out of school, start working along the lines which you learned in school, and think that you'll be financially independent.
Yes. When you talk about war, Mercy, I'm sorry to say that life operates in two dimensions. Life operates in two. I had not planned about this, but I'm happy that you just brought it. And then who am I? Life operates in two dimensions. We have got what we call the physical dimension and the spiritual dimension. But the physical dimension is a reflection of the spiritual dimension. I will say it again. The physical dimension is a reflection of the spiritual dimension. And if we go even in accordance to the biblical way, in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1, it says that in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So the heaven began representing the invisible realm or the spiritual realm, then the earth representing the physical.
Yes.
So for a life to be complete, that is the financial life to be complete, it has to operate in two dimensions. That is the invisible dimension and the visible dimension. The spiritual dimension and the physical dimension. And people normally say that physical is more real than the spiritual. It's not true. In fact, the spiritual space, the spiritual realm is more real, more than the physical realm, because the physical is a reflection of the spiritual. Just like, there's no way you can say that the photocopy is superior than the original copy.
Exactly.
Did you get that?
I did.
There's no way you can say that photocopy is more real than the original copy. What is real? It is the original copy. And now the real thing here, it is the invisible, which is the spiritual realm. Because the physical is the reflection of the spiritual realm. Now, when it comes to war, that is where I'm coming. When it comes to war, you have to fight the two aspects of war. The invisible war, then fight the physical war. Now, when it comes now to the invisible, do you know where you're fighting that war? You are fighting that war in your mind. You mentioned about something. Yeah, I'm about to answer. You mentioned about something, lack of delayed gratification. When we were growing up, especially Africans, when we were growing up, we were not taught on how to have to develop delayed gratification. We were being given 10 shillings, and you were told, in these 10 shillings, go and buy a roll pop.
Yes.
Go and buy a sweet. Go and buy a tropical sweet. But we were not told, the moment you are given these 10 shillings, do this. Go save 5 shillings and then spend the 5 shillings. We were taught the moment that these 5 shillings is handed over to you, the 10 shillings, go spend everything by buying whatever you want to buy. Maybe a toy. It was still a form of spending. Whether it was buying a toy, buying a sweet or roll, it was still a form of spending. Now, because we were not taught, in our mind, I'm bringing about fighting the two wars, the invisible war and the visible war. In our mind now, our mind has got two faculties. It has got what we call the conscious brain and the subconscious brain. I'll say it again. Our mind has got two major faculties, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Now, the day you are given 10 shillings as you spend everything, a software was programmed in your subconscious mind of spending the moment you get money, of not delaying gratification the moment you get money. Now, the moment you have grown up, you are not taught on how to save. You are not taught on how to invest. Now, the moment you get the money, you respond in accordance to what you are taught when you are young.
Exactly. And the way to undo that.
Now, this is where the battle comes in. Where does the battle comes in? We have said you have to fight the two battles. The spiritual battle, that is the invisible battle that you cannot see, and the visible battle now. Now, the invisible is that you have the money in your hands. You have the money in your hands. But now in the mind, you are not taught, when you are young, you are not taught on how to save and how to invest. You are taught the moment you get money, spend very fast.
Nayo.
Now, do you know what you'll do? Now, Mercy is here and Nick is here. He's telling you, secure this at 5-year plan. Secure a 10-year plan through savings and investment. That is where the initial battle begins. I'll begin to fight with your idea. Mercy, you are telling me to save for 5 years, for 10 years. I was not taught, but now this is not, it is not verbal war. You're fighting it in the mind. There's a disagreement between the conscious mind, what you are telling me, and what was stored in me when I was growing up in my subconscious mind. So there's a disagreement. No, I wasn't, you are telling me save? No, my mind says, I wasn't taught how to save and invest. Oh no, you can save for 5 years. No, I wasn't taught on how to save for 5 years. I was taught the moment you get money, you spend everything. That is the initial stage of this war. That's why I'm saying, if you are going to be financially free, it will be a very, I don't know what kind of war. You remember the World War II or World War What? Which one? Yes, it